Alright chat, today we are playing some Sett. Sett has been really strong lately, so we are giving him a shot. Today we are playing against Kaisa. Okay, let's go ahead and put our candlelit down for game one, or actually we'll put a monastery down. Okay. And I will opponent will choose who goes first. I'm assuming they will, or opponent will be going first here. We have a Cythria, a Sabotage, Showstopper, and Challenge. I don't think we need Challenge against Kaisa. Sabotage, probably also not that necessary. It could be good. I think I just need more bodies and more value. I'm not sure I need this Sabotage that much, but we do want this Showstopper. We're gonna mulligan 2, and we will be ready to go. So the battlefields are Hirana Monastery. When you conquer here, spend a buff to draw 1, and Targon's Peak. When you conquer here, ready 2 runes. So our turn 1, we will play a Cythria of Cloudfield and pass the turn back to the opponent. So we'll have the option to actually play Kiana and Showstopper her out. I'm not sure how necessary that's going to be. Cythria and Hirana Monastery will give us a lot of value that we desperately need against Kaisa here. Opponent plays Lecturing Yordle, draws a card, and we will ready. So we have options here. We can just play Sett and draw a card here and lose it to your Lecturing Yordle. We can capture this Targon's Peak also, to play Sett and capture Targon's Peak to untap 2. That's not really that good. We can play Kiana out to the Targon's Peak. No. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start with playing Kiana here by cycling back a body rune. We'll go ahead and spawn a buff on Cythria. So we can draw a card and lose that too. We can also just play Cythria to the Targon's Peak and hold up Call to Glory, right? That would be another real option that is not a bad one. I think we actually just want to do that. I'm gonna go for the Targon's Peak here. Opponent has Hextech Ray, so we'll actually just Call to Glory on this here. So we will take this point. Now we have to see if we want to show. I think we do want to Showstopper Kiana over, but not. But we won't be spending the rune to draw a card. So we will go ahead and capture. Thinking. I think I do want to draw a card here. We are going into 5 next turn. That is a lot to work with, and we no longer have Showstopper, so we don't have a need for the 6th rune. We'll go ahead and draw with Kiana. And we drew the Showstopper, and I will go ahead and untap 2 runes here. So we drew our second Showstopper. We can use this rune to save Kiana if she goes in danger. And so opponent is looking at our Kiana funny, as they are Kaisa. They have lots of removal. But if it's not a singularity, it's not going to be enough. So opponent moves Lecturing Yordle over, and takes our Cytherea out and scores their first point on Targon's Peak. They have some options available here. Opponent is tapping 4 runes, plays a Sprite Mother. Yes. A Sprite. Yeah, Sprite goes here to Kiana. And opponent will play a Hextech Ray to the Kiana. And I will use Sett ability to save Kiana here. Opponent could have 3 costs. Okay, so I think that could be a Void Seeker, right? Yes. So opponent will have 3 runes here. We'll ready. So we have some options. We could send Kiana into this monastery. Likely she will die. We could also send Kiana into the lecturing Yordle. Eat some removal there. Yeah, I think we do want to just get the removal out of their hand, right? And just play a Fiora in base or another Kiana. Because if they... Another Kiana in base could not be cleared with Falling Star. We could also just play this Showstopper to Kiana here. And then play a Glory Seeker. That could be our best move. Playing another Kiana just feels so slow. I think we need to just play this Kiana here and channel with a Showstopper. I mean, that stops a Fiora with a Showstopper, right? In a later turn. I think we're gonna move Kiana here to the monastery and eat a Void Seeker. The Void Seeker will put her back all the way to 2 runes though, because she'll have to... The opponent will need to recycle 2 runes for that. So opponent plays Void Seeker and pays a deflect. They will draw a card. So we are in an interesting position. I think we actually just play another Kiana here. Because next turn we would go up to 5 runes and we could play Fiora with a Showstopper. I think. I'll actually just play a Kiana to base and pass the turn back to the opponent. Okay, opponent moves the Sprite Mother. Yep. Opponent moves Sprite Mother to the monastery. They are now at 3 points. They also scored 1 point for holding. They have 3, we have 2 points. Kaisa out here being very efficient with their energy. So we are actually both quite poor in runes. They are at 4 and we are at 3. This is like turn 4. We're just both blowing our runes into nothingness, or more like to the bottom of deck. But you know, opponent will be looking to play a Raven Bloom student. They are figuring out where they want to play it. They will play the Raven Bloom student to the Hirana Monastery, and that is with their Sprite Mother. Okay, so we will ready here. So we can move our Kiana over here, but she probably just dies, right? One option we have is to send Fiora in that way with deflect. I actually think we just get rid of a removal from their hand and they would set them back 2 turns, right? The thing is, they're highly... I think the opponent is highly incentivized into actually... I actually getting rid of this Fiora because she would have deflect and ganking, which means she could just waltz over to the other side and take them both out next turn if they do nothing about it, right? The thing is, Kiana here is very easy to get rid of. Fiora is a lot harder to get rid of. And if they don't, they will just lose a lot. So we will showstopper our Fiora over to their Targon's Peak. They will Hextech Ray here. Yep. And yes. So we will end up trading. I will use Sett's ability to save her. And then I'm going to move my Kiana here. So the Kiana scores a point. Now we need to consider whether we want to draw or channel. We need to go into 6 next turn. Channel. So yeah, we actually want to just channel here and then pass the turn. So we are tied in points right now, but the opponent is opponent goes into their turn and we are no longer tied. They are at 4 points to our 3. We have a Fiora in base and a Kiana on point with Targon's Peak. Opponent plays Kaisa to base. Opponent plays Kaisa to base. Okay. And this is an interesting turn. Do they want to send both units back, or if they want to... okay, they are sending a Ravenbloom student back. Yes, okay. So we will ready here, and we will get 1 point. So we have some very interesting questions to answer. I think we want to just start by playing a Kinku Monk here and getting a buff on each of our units here. So we'll put a buff on Fiora and a buff on Kiana. Now we need to figure out if we want to send our Fiora into here. That is probably another Hextech Ray that would send them back to 3 runes, back to 4 runes actually. And we want we're gonna go ahead and move Fiora into this Bright Mother. Fiora does have deflect here. Deflect, ganking, shield. Good. So we will take the Sprite Mother and we will score our 5th point. Now the question is what we want to do with this Kiana. We could put our Glory Seeker here and have Kaisa there also. I think it's very greedy. Opponent is at 3 cards. They will go to 4 or 5 cards. And they will have more runes available. They could have Singularity. I don't think they play, or not all of them play it right now. Singularity would really bust up this Kiana, but I think it's a small price to pay. But I think we'll just actually just send everyone home and go for a big combat next turn. So we'll play our Glory Seeker and pass the turn to the opponent. So this way, they're actually somewhat incentivized to fight for this Fiora, because the Fiora can just gank. Just come over from here and gank. That's not something that they would really want to happen. Okay, so we do have how much might in base? We have 12 might in base. Yes. So they're sending Kaisa into the Hirana Monastery, and they cleave for 7. We will go ahead and save this Fiora using a rune here. And they will score a point. So now opponent has 5 points. They are going to 6 points. That is kind of scary for us. Maybe we should have kept Kiana on the... I think we should have kept Kiana on the Targon's Peak, because that would at least make it so that this situation isn't a free 6 for them. They are at 4 cards in hand, which is probably more than enough to deal with both, but we should have at least made them commit a little more. But this turn is less efficient for that reason. They could have smoke bombs also, which could prove quite problematic for us. We are going into 6 runes next turn, so we have access to Sett attacking for 9. Opponent plays a Kaisa, accelerated, and draws a card. Yes. Goes up to 6 points. And moves their Ravenbloom student with... Oh. They are thinking about it. Opponent is thinking. We can try and move up to 7 points next turn and go for a win through holding. That is probably going to be our dominant line. Okay. So opponent moves their Ravenbloom student to their Kaisa on the Targon's Peak. They will untap 2 at the end and pass the turn back to me. So, ooh. Okay, we could go for a sabotage here, but I don't think sabotage is that good, right? The problems with sabotage... Okay, so if we send in both this Glory Seeker and this Kinku Monk, it can beat a handful of things. So Showstopper Sett with Showstopper onto this Kaisa cannot be beat with a smokescreen, but a smokescreen can beat the rest. I don't think a sabotage does that much against it's a board like this. We really just need to double score here. That would be the most important thing that we need to do. Biggest question is how, right? We could also try and Showstopper our Fiora into Kaisa and then use the ganking to move that over. A Void Seeker could be the counterplay. They are out of Hextech Rays. I think it really is Void Seeker here and smoke bombs. It could be it could be up to... No, it can only be 1 smoke bomb, right? If they smoke bomb, this student goes up to 3, and then this Kinku Monk would go to 1, so it would actually be able to take the Kaisa out. Yeah, I think we do need to play the Sett because we need the might to hold. Okay, so we're going to begin by putting Kinku Monk and Glory Seeker here onto this board, because the best outcome is that they let it go, which they probably just won't let that go. It could be a Stupefy. Okay, Stupefy onto Kinku Monk, resolve. Yes. So they will get 1 might there. And Stupefy again. Yep. So, yeah. So the Ravenbloom student will be at 4 might. And our Kinku Monk will be at 2 might. So now we have 5 versus their 4. So now we gotta think what dies here. I think we want the Raven Bloom student to die here. I'm thinking if I want to use Sett here, I think I'm okay with using Sett ability. No. We don't need to use Sett ability. We'll just have them both die here. So now we need to figure out this next part, because I think what we do want is for Kiana to take one of these. Now, it's a very important matter of how, isn't it? Is if Kiana goes here and they have the third Stupefy, which I imagine that they do, because they just held they've been holding a lot of cards in hand here. Yeah. I'm just gonna move Kiana into this Kaisa here. I will, okay, so we do get our point. I'll draw. We could actually just play Pit Rookie to this to this Fiora. I think we want to do that, but if we commit the Pit Rookie there, we can also just Showstopper this Kaisa. They probably have some sort of big Darius play here that could really mess us up. They probably have some sort of Darius line, but we don't want this Kaisa to stay alive. That's the biggest problem with this situation, right? They would need to get both. We do want a buff on this. So, Showstopper onto Fiora here. So the Showstopper will win this fight. And I need to figure out the next move, right? So, we can move Fiora back into base. Or we can also just move everything onto one board and play Sett. They are going into the Watcher turn. I think we need to just put everything back in base. Yeah, let's go ahead and put that in base and play Sett out here and pass the turn to the opponent. And then untap 2 runes, or ready 2 runes, excuse me. Yeah, I'm thinking now I shouldn't have put the Sett and the Fiora in base, because this puts it in a situation where like they can probably clear one out but not both. So like, for example, they play Watcher here. I think I still win it, because this Sett can definitely just kill the Watcher, and I have Sabotage backup for whatever 2 runes that they if they have a smoke screen, for example. I would have a way to get rid of that. Yeah, this is an interesting situation here. Fiora can also just move to the monastery. Okay, opponent is paying 5, presumably for Darius, yes. And they have 3 runes remaining. They are playing Legion Rearguard. Oh, we lose. We lose. Yeah, we lost for that mistake. We should have just stayed on a point. Yeah, so we did lose. We did lose this game. We should have won, I think. Opponent is saying that I pretty much had it if I had played it properly, but here we are. Let's see. So sabotage just does not seem that important against Kaisa. Well, that's not entirely true. Not that it's not important. I gotta see what I've gotten here. I probably just throw in these drummers for some value, you know. I think I want to get rid of these poros for the drummers. We will be going first, though. Yeah, I'm gonna take these poros out for that. I don't think it's actually. I think we can get rid of the Glory Seekers instead. It's only 2 glory or 3 Glory Seekers. Or we could also just get rid of sabotages and just have more bodies in general. I think that's fine. I'm not. The thing is, like, we don't really win in a value game against them, and a card like Sabotage, you kind of just go down cards by doing that. The position for the knowledge and the you know, removing a card. I don't think the value's there. Oops. Okay, so we will be going first. We have a choice between Conquer here, Discard then Draw, or Candlelit Sanctum. I think we'll go with Zon Warrens. It's a little. It feel like it helps them to some degree. If they were to go first. So I'm playing Zon Warrens, opponent's playing Void Gate. Let's go ahead and draw. We probably want to keep Kiana's as much as possible. First mate is not that important. Glory Seeker turn 1, I think it's totally fine. We will do 1 mulligan here. And we will draw a Kinku Monk. We do have a lot of energy requirements in our hand. Not too good for us currently, and we'll pass. Yep, we're gonna play our Glory Seeker and pass turn. Opponent is at 3 runes here. Let's see, Yordle. They play Lecturing Yordle, they draw a card and pass the turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and ready here. Something to look out for would be Stupefy, but I'm not really sure how important that is to me. I think I want to just go for the first point here and have them use it. I'm totally fine with that. We'll go ahead and play our Glory Seeker. When you conquer here, discard and draw 1. Let's go ahead and discard a Kinku Monk and draw a card. Okay, we have a Call to Glory, which is interesting. Let's play our Kiana in base and pass the turn. It does have Deflect, so there's some form of built-in protection on that. Putting her to 4 might is going to be really useful because that puts her out of Void Seeker range. Yeah, the problem is that it's not 2 units, right? Or I guess let's find out what the opponent does here. Opponent plays 2 or spends 2 power. Okay, opponent wants to trade Glory Seeker. They're gonna stupefy. Cleave. They're gonna cleave the Yordle and take my Glory Seeker. They will score a point and they will trigger Zon Warrens. They're gonna go ahead and discard a card and draw. So opponent discarded its Ravenbloom student, draws a card. So now they have 3 might on the Warrens. They have 4 might on the Warrens. Okay. So interestingly enough, we can take this. Opponent has 1 point here. So a big question is, do we want to move that over? We can play our Sett. We can actually play our Sett and use a buff to use the buff on the Sett to make it 7 power, and it will take that battlefield, but I don't know how important that is, right? We could also just Kiana to channel a rune here and draw and develop and move it back to base. That seems slow. Yeah, and there could also be a Void Seeker, right? Is it? It might just be fine to play this Kinku Monk here. Strangely enough. It feels really bad, but the outcomes seem pretty good. Yeah, not being at 6 is kind of what's making this play really awkward. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. It feels really bad, but it seems necessary. Buff to other. No, I can't. I need to have 2, right? I'm gonna go ahead and just... Okay, so if I channel an exhausted rune here, we would be going into 7 next turn, which seems like the good play. I think we actually, like, weirdly enough, we play Kiana here. So I'll get a point and channel a rune exhausted. And we'll play the Sett in base. So we have a rune, or we'll have a buff to save Kiana from any shenanigans the opponent might attempt to present here. And we'll have Kinku Monk able to also rebuff Sett and move him to 8 might next turn if we want to. Yeah, Kiana being on the Void Gate makes things a little awkward. They can Void Seeker for 5. Call to Glory would put Kaisa to 7. So even Singularity wouldn't really kill her, but it would kill Sett if they Singularity. It would, at that point, it would depend what we want to keep more, and it would probably be the Sett, honestly. Opponent has some things working in their favor. So if they were to have a smoke bomb on Sett using his ability, we would have 8 might, right? We would attack into the Zon Warrens and a smoke screen into 4 might. Opponent's playing 4 runes. Okay, Sprite Mother. Opponent plays Sprite Mother. Okay. Yes. So opponent Sprite Mother here to Kiana. Yes, and then they will Hextech Ray, deflect. So they're using Hextech Ray on Kiana here. So think, yeah, it's fine. So Kiana can die here, will die here. Yeah, we can't save Kiana in that situation. Now the question is, what do we do about this Sett over here? We can also just play Kinku Monk here. And then first mate, right? And we could go for a double capture. That could be pretty good. This is going to be an interesting turn. Let's find out. So something the opponent doesn't do is keep the Lecturing Yordle here to play around this Sett, buffing itself to 8. That's an interesting one. They do play Ravenbloom Student to base and pass the turn. So they are at 2 points to R2, tied on points. We have 8 runes available, so we have options available, right? We could play Cythria First Mate Drummer and just take our point but lose the Cythria. We could also just play a... we could play our drummer there. We are at 8, 4, 2, 2. Okay. I think we are just going to be playing Sett to this Zon Warrens here. It really is just a matter of what we're doing afterwards, right? And let's go ahead and draw before we decide. What would we discard? That's also another problem. I don't want to discard any of this. Strangely enough, it might be Kiana, because it's just not doing enough here. Okay, we're gonna move Sett into here. We're gonna move Sett into the Zon Warrens. Yep, so opponent will lose both of their sentries and draw 2. Okay, so opponent is at 3 cards in hand. We will score a point and thinking on discard. I will just ditch this Kiana here. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and ditch Kiana and draw a card. It feels very weird, but I think we just need to do it. We have 8 runes available. This turn, I think we are looking at Cythria First Mate and Drummer. The opponent will have... the opponent will have Sprite Mother and Yordle. So either way they can tank, right? So we'll go ahead and open with Cythria here. We will play our first mate. Excuse me, actually. Yeah. Oh, we may have made an error. Maybe not. We can save the Cythria, but I don't think we will be doing that. And then we'll send Cythria into the Void Gate, and we will get our point and pass the turn to opponent. Yeah, I like this. I like having this drummer here. So Cythria is probably just gonna die, which I think we're totally okay with. They also have access to a falling star. I think I was supposed to send this drummer in, but it's fine. Here we are. Opponent moves Sprite Mother to Void Gate. So I think we're just going to Call to Glory on herself using the buff. And we will eat the Sprite Mother, I believe, unless they do something. So opponent is going to smoke screen our Cythria using Kaisa's for power, and you get your point. So opponent goes to 3 points to R4. And Raven Bloom student goes to 3 power or 3 might. So opponent has 5 might currently. We've got a lot of decent options next turn, especially with our buffs from Kinku Monk. Getting to 5 will be an interesting proposition for the opponent. They will need to put something in here. Meanwhile, we'll get to keep our set. Opponent uses 5 runes to accelerate Kaisa. Yes. Oh, no. They're just playing. Oh, I see. Okay, they're just playing Kaisa. So we'll go ahead and ready. We will score a point here for holding. Yes. Yeah, I did. So we have a few options. We've got Kinku Monk and Glory Seeker. Okay, so we have 10 runes here. Now it becomes a matter of exactly how we want to go about getting this. I'm gonna go ahead and use Kinku Monk here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and cycle a rune. So we're gonna put a buff on both of our drummer and our first mate. So now the question is, how do we send them in? I'm gonna go ahead and send in this first mate by itself. It's 4. Yes. Opponent pays 3 for a Void Seeker. I will save it with a buff. Yes. So now we gotta figure out. Okay, so we're gonna actually move our drummer here. We'll make a recruit. We will lose our recruit and score our 6th point. We have 5 runes remaining. I think we just move our set back so we can go for a double conquer next turn. Let's go ahead and play our Glory Seeker here. And play an Arena Bar. And then use Arena Bar immediately to put a buff on the Kinku Monk, and we will pass the turn. Oh, and it's set on taps for conquering, and then we'll pass the turn. Yeah, we got to remember that in tournament. Be careful with that. Okay, so we will update some of the mites here. Kaisa goes to Zon Warrens. Yes, goes to 4 points. Yeah, discard, draw. Oop. And then Kaisa draw. Draw 1 more. Yep. There we go. So they have went to they just scored their 4th point. They are looking at our 6 points, and we are hoping for a double capture here. This drummer will die very easily. Yes, but we do need to see how exactly. Opponent has used, I think, okay, they've used 1 Void Seeker and 1 Hextech Ray this game. Yeah, we are presenting a lot of might on our board or in our base. This is 11 might and potentially plus 3, 14 might on set. They could have a smoke bomb for that, go to 9, but let's see exactly what they go for here. This is 1-2. Okay, so they're... Oh, yes. They're playing a Riptide Rex and taking out our drummer. We'll go ahead and save our drummer, yes. With Sett ability. Yeah. It could be wrong because now we can't save our Sett with the legend ability. But we still would be representing quite a bit of might. Opponent is presenting currently 4, 6, 2, 12 might on the board, and they only have 2 runes, which should be a pretty good place for us. But yeah, I think opponent is thinking about this lecturing Yordle, whether it's supposed to move into the Void Gate, which is a pretty important question to answer here. Yeah, because we would move our first mate onto... honestly, we'd probably move Noxian Drummer onto the Void Gate. That way, it would take 2 removal to stop the Conquer if they leave it unoccupied. There's a pretty good chance they move this Yordle over, and that would force us to use something else as the initial capture. Yes, okay, so opponent will move the Yordle, and now it will be our turn. What do we get off top? Ooh, a challenge. Okay, so do we play around Smokescreen, right? Interesting questions here. So to play around Smokescreen, what would we need to do? So if we move Sett over here, right? If we move Sett to the Void Gate with 8 might, we could end up challenging over to this board. We could put an arena bar on and move him to 12, and then that challenge would be pretty much guaranteed. G-word guaranteed. That might be the best option. We could also just move everything into there. We could move first mate in. The biggest problem with challenging, or with pumping Sett now and challenging, is that we can't kill a Riptide if they smoke bomb. That would be 8, but we can kill a Kite. No, we can't even kill the Kaisa. So what? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna use Sett ability to go to 8, and then we will move the Sett over to this lecturing Yordle. This plays around Smoke Bomb. And we can arena bar it to move it to 12. Okay. So we will get our point here. Arena bar, target. Put our buff on it. And then use ability. And then move it to 12. No, it's a challenge from Sett to Riptide Rex. This is gonna be interesting. I'm not sure the opponent could have an answer to this, but I would like to find out. This is how we learn, right? We learn by losing. Okay, we did secure game 2. Okay, okay, GG. Watcher could have been a problem, but yeah. So we do need to play out game 3 because we lost game 1. But the thing is, we might have not won had we gone first, right? But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and put this away here. I do like the drummers. I think they are quite strong. It's a Kaisa. We want just a little more quality units. The problem is they die to a falling star, right? But that's whatever. Anivia it could be good because it's hard for the opponent to deal with, but it's not that important, I don't think. The question is, how much do we want sabotage? I argue not enough. Would we want any number of sabotage? I don't think. I think like 2 would be fine. 3 is kind of a lot. That's not true. These poros are not that important against them, right? We are going second also, and our last battlefield is what is our last battlefield? Candlelit. Okay. I think we could use sabotage here. Maybe challenge is less good. We can go down a challenge. I think we just go. Do we just go down all the challenges? Challenges seem kind of slow against Kaisa and susceptible to getting blown out. There's only 2 challenges in here? Okay, so we get rid of a Poro also. I'm okay with that. We can put the sabotages back in. And I have a feeling Anivia's could be real good too, but I'm not gonna bother with that. Oh, there's the 3rd challenge. We'll keep one in, whatever. Something play testing. Okay. Opponent has Reckoner's Arena. Yours works. That's funny. Okay, so we are opening with turn 1 Pookie, a Glory Seeker challenge. I think we just bottom the Glory Seeker and the challenge. Think mulligan. This Kinku Monk was really good, but we are going second. It's a bit slow. I think we do want a 2-drop. It just depends how, right? It's pretty important. I think we want the Kinku Monk. We don't want the challenge, and we don't want the Glory Seeker. And we'll just mulligan 2. So we'll send these back to the bottom. Ready. So we've gotten an arena bar and a sabotage. I think that's fine. So opponent will play a Watchful Sentry turn 1, pass the turn back. Okay, so we will begin with... Okay, we've drawn all the sabotages. I don't think we want them right now. Let's go ahead and just play this arena bar and pass the turn to the opponent. This seems like a very bad place to be. I am starting to regret these sabotages, maybe just too soon, but it's fine. So Watchful Sentry will work. They'll get Sanctum. So they get their first point, and they have a Kaisa on the back. I think we might just play Sett and pass, but we'll see. This is looking very bad for us. I think we lose for this. We should not have put these sabotages in. We should just put more bodies for pressure. Ah. Oh well. Yes, okay. Opponent is keeping both on top. Ready? Okay, we have a showstopper. We can send our Pookie in with 3 onto this Watchful Sentry. That is not a very good play. I think we just play the set and pass. I don't see anything better here. Yeah, we're gonna play set. We're gonna pass the turn. Very slow start. Okay, opponent starts their turn. They have 6 runes available. Kaisa, oops. Kaisa moves to Reknar's Arena. Yeah, looks good. It will score 2 points here. Or score their... Yeah, they also get their point from here. Yeah, so the opponent will be at 3 points to our 0, which is very bad. We probably should have played the Pit Rookie on 1. But that's not... No, that's not true. I think it's fine. We will be able to double sabotage next turn. Yeah, we can pretty much guarantee that this Kaisa goes bye-bye and that their follow-up is poor. We would also be able to play Pookie. Kaisa on Reknar's Arena will not be a good thing for us to have to deal with. Yeah, in the following turn we'll be able to Kinku Monk and Showstopper. But that is probably not next turn. It might be next turn. We can start with a Sabotage, right? Opponent does have 7 whole cards in hand, though. This is probably really fucking bad. Opponent will spend 2 probably to play a Ravenbloom student. Oh, nope. They're playing... Oh, Falling Star. Okay. So, set ability. Save it. Yeah. So we had to save our set from a Falling Star. The biggest problem is if they have another one, the game gets really difficult. But not over. We do have Kinku Monk. Okay. Oh, they wanted to take the buff off. Okay, so let's go ahead and ready. We've drawn a set. Very interesting. Our play this turn is probably just going to be Pit Rookie, Pit Rookie Sabotages. We do need to catch up a little bit. Let's start with a Sabotage. Okay, so opponent has Void Seeker, Smokescreen, Hextech, Ray. Oh boy. We can get rid of a lot of important stuff here. They are able to Icathian Rain this turn, this following turn. We can get rid of a second card, so the big question becomes, what is it that we get rid of exactly? The Void Seeker can take care of this set. We are gonna be Pookieing though, so we probably want to get rid of this smoke screen here. Actually, one sec. We could also get the Void Seeker is not that important, right? They'll just draw. So we get rid of this smoke screen. How much we want to get rid of a Icathian Rain is another question. I don't think we care about Catian Rain. We actually care about this Void Seeker too, because so let's get rid of this smoke screen. I do have another one. So yeah, let's get rid of the Void Seeker. And so we'll play a Pookie here. We'll play a Pookie, trigger, put a buff on Sett, and then use the buff. Sett will be at 8. Now, where do we want this to go? We'll go ahead and Sett fight with Kaisa, and we'll get our first point. Now, we probably want to just not let them Catian Rain. Let's go ahead and we could showstopper this Pookie over to the Reckoner's Arena, and it'll have a buff, and so will Sett. That's probably not that good. We're just gonna go ahead and put a buff back on Sett for now. We're using Arena Bar. Let's go ahead and pass the turn to... Wait, so if we go to 4 next turn and 3, if they Catian Rain here, right? 1, 2, 2. I mean, these both die essentially, but this comes back. How important is it to showstopper? So Catian Rain is 2 damage 6 times. So if we put the showstopper, no. If we put the showstopper on the pit rookie, it will be at 3 and then 5. So that's still more than enough to take both out, right? It will be 3, 6. Oh, but not both. I think we'll leave it alone here. Yeah, we'll pass the turn. It's not that vital. Yeah. The problem is this points lead. So the opponent is going to Catian Rain. They get to do it 6 times. Okay, so I will use Sett ability to save it, I think. Do 10 to Sett. Yeah. Yeah. So he'll die. So Sett will die, and then I'll use a rune to save Sett here. An opponent has this Watchful Sentry and is at 4 points. We have a problem for sure. What we're gonna do is play Sett to this battlefield here, the Candlelit Sanctum. They'll draw a card, and I will trigger the Sanctum. So that's a first mate, and oh, thank you. Yep. That is a first mate and a call to glory. We are looking at a situation where we want to hold on to the board as much as we can. I think call to glory will give us the most power here. We are going in a turn. We are going to 5 runes next turn, because we're gonna play Kiana this turn. But yeah, so yeah, that'll give us the most survivability on our units here. So 1 top, 1 bottom. Let's go ahead and play Kiana. And and use Arena Bar to put a buff on her, so she will be 5, and we will pass the turn to the opponent. Yeah, opponent could have Watcher soon. They do not have it this turn because they are at 7 runes. I mean, they could play Watcher as just a body. I'm not sure that is that good. It's probably really good next turn. Like, for example, if they just Sprite Mother onto the Reckoner's Arena, and we'll be able to take it, but a Sprite Mother and an accelerated Watcher will just take both. They'll just take both battlefields and go to 7, because that would put them at 5, right? This is very interesting. So opponent is playing 4 for Sprite Mother. Oh boy, what we were afraid of is currently happening. Yes, Sprite. Yep, Sprite Mother. Yep, they'll get their point. Sprite goes to Reckoner's Arena. They'll get their point. We have a Call to Glory coming, so that's not the worst position to be in, right? This would be 5. It would go down to 2, and then Call to Glory would be 5. It cannot defend against that. Opponent still has 3 runes left. They are going into 8 runes, so that is probably a Watcher. Let's go ahead and start our turn. Let's go ahead and draw. Or excuse me, we'll draw, and then we'll get our point here. So questions would be, I think we'll just put Sett back into base. What we want to do with Kiana, though, is another story. This is really difficult. I'm gonna go ahead and put Kiana here and trigger Kiana, thinking I might want to channel just to start getting some tempo back, since I'm not able to not really able to use my cards. What is my turn this turn? My turn this turn is probably to just play another Sett. So channeling is probably the best option we have, right? No, not necessarily. We'll go to 6 next turn, and then we can have Kinku Monk and Showstopper. Let's go ahead and draw a card. I'm pretty sure we want to draw here. So we have another Showstopper, which is not that good at this time. Sett's probably going to die if we leave him here. Now, if we play 2 Setts to this board, or we play our second Sett to this board, it would be a little more interesting. Let's go ahead, but I think we just go for some sort of defense here, where we'll play the Sett. We'll go ahead and play the Sett into the base, and then we'll defend 1 position. Yeah, we'll defend 1 and let them have 1, right? So they'll end up going to 6 points. I gotta figure out if we want this Sett, because no, if they I'm kind of banking on them having a Watcher so that we can just retake the board, right? We can keep one side of the board and take the other side. We do have Showstoppers that we can use. This is not that useful when you're this far behind. If by some miracle we hold the Reckoner's Arena, it could be good for us. Opponent has 6 cards in their hand, which we're hoping to strand there. They are at 5 points. Moving into 6 is going to be a problem for us. So opponent is paying 5, probably for a Darius. Yeah, they'll pay 5 for Darius. They have 3 runes left here. Darius will get up to 7, and I imagine they have cleave. It could be a lot of things, honestly. So opponent uses Hextech Ray on Kiana, and it has deflect, so they will be recycling rune, so 7. So opponent is sending an attack in, and this has 3 damage marked on it. So where's the dice? Okay. So 3 damage marked on there. Thinking. So if we... It's very weird. If we call to glory by getting rid of her buff, it's very weird. It saves it. It saves it, or it would force a trade. Oh, that's kind of crazy. I think we actually do want to do that here. We're gonna go and call to glory, like using the buff that's on her. Yeah, so that means that they will need to use something to kind of push this back. Yeah. I think they only play 2 cleaves, so this oh, they still have 2 cleave actually. They could smoke screen here. Pass. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, trade. We successfully get the trade. That's, yeah, that was kind of a surprise, honestly. Not an impossible thing to happen though. Yep. So they will score a point. And now let's go to our turn. Let's go ahead and ready. We'll get a point for holding here. Oop. We're at 5. Opponent is going into 8. So that means it could be a few things. Let's go ahead and use the buff here to put Sett to 8, and then we'll go ahead and attack the Sprite Mother. And then I'll get my point and add a buff. So that will be at 5. I will also probably play a unit here, just to get stuff onto the board. 2, 3, 4. We'll play a Kinku Monk, and then we'll Arena Bar. So that will be at 5. And then now whether we want to go for a hold, I think, is another decision. I actually think we send this back to base because we can't win that way anyway. I will pass the turn to the opponent. So now we are tied on points, but the opponent does have some initiative here. I think Watcher was the best play that they had last turn. It makes me wonder if they had it. I'm not sure that they did. They would have to top deck Watcher here, I think. Their hand could be a lot of things. It could be another Darius, right? But one thing is that we get to use the buff on this Kinku Monk. as for Call to Glory, if we do need to get that to 8. That would be interesting. They could just, yeah, if they Falling Star go for this with Falling Star, then we can move it to 8. 8 might, so that it can survive that. We can also, no, we can't play Calling Star without, okay, so yeah, we would need to use the buff on the Kinku Monk to pay for the Call to Glory. That one's interesting. But one thing we can do is Showstopper this set. In case we lose this one, we can Showstopper this set onto a board and then get our buff back, put it back at home, and Showstopper again. And that would be a double capture with one set. That is probably how we win. This position is quite difficult for the opponent to break. What could they use? Yeah, so opponent could have Singularity. Singularity is probably not acceptable. We would actually try and preserve this buff on this set and then save the other one, right? This is the opponent conceding. Yeah. All right, it looks like we have acquired game 3. Yeah, this deck is just ridiculous. It just has so many options. All the creatures just stick around for way too long. Call to Glory is free. Showstopper makes it so that you can just fly across the boards and take everything. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like we've got game 3, and geez, this deck is so broken. All right, thanks for coming, and good games. I'll see you guys later.